JD from Truth Be Told, by way of Raw and Uncut 3. Sitting here with a special guest. I know him as my franchise player, my star player, I like to call him. But if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I ain't game up with no nickname yet, so I'm gonna stick with Skiboo for right now. That's it.
Magnolia Skiboo. Back again. This is like our fifth interview. I got two bones to pick with you. So the first one, you know, we came up with this great idea that, you know, we're gonna get your own page started. You're gonna start dropping content. You know, we're gonna do the interview to you know, get it off the ground, get the subscribers. It goes as planned, and then we put the interview out. It does numbers too, and then we don't hear nothing. We don't see nothing from you, man. What's going on?
Man, bro, I just didn't know how to do this shit, bro. I ain't about to make no excuse, but I appreciate you for that. You know, everything happened like you said it was gonna happen, but I know how to do it after this. I'm gonna start posting. It ain't gonna be no, you know, all them videos every day, but I'm gonna definitely start putting some content up there.
Okay, so after this interview, as you saying, you're gonna get active.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you heard it, and it's funny because it was somebody left a comment on one of the videos saying that after we put that interview out, you ain't gonna do nothing, and you ain't do nothing else. But y'all heard it here first. After this interview, he gonna start putting out content. Yeah. All right. So that was the first bone. The second bone, you know, I watched the Chill Will and Gangsta interview. Chill said that you told me that you didn't hit Dana. But Chill told me that you was taking her up and through there. That's what he said on Gangsta channel. If you've seen it, I don't know if you've seen it or not.
Yeah, I saw that. Somebody said it to me. A few people really, but Chill, bro. I told me and Dana was cool, but that never happened. I never touched Dana. I used to mess with her friend. For real, like I wouldn't lie. If I did, I'd be like, yeah, I knocked her ass on back then. But no, I never.
Man, he said you was doing some things to her. I said, hold on, I know my dog ain't lied to you, man. So you saying you ain't never messed with Dana?
Never.
Alright, so Chill he just probably assumed.
He assumed, like other people did, so.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Shout out to Dana too. But yeah, so I seen that, man. I started cracking up. I might have been one of the people that sent it to you too. I was cracking up like that.
You did, yeah.
I said, you down bad. You started cracking up. Yeah. I'm like, oh, hold on, man. There's some truth to this. You like, nah, he just ain't never happened. All right, cool. So moving on, we're going to jump right into it. So, like I said, this is like our fifth interview. So our first interview, we kind of like just kind of set the tone. But you spoke on someone that used to run with you, Dooney, and Whop. Whop, he's currently locked up. We know the backstory of, you know, y'all falling out, I guess you can call it, when you was locked up doing that 12 years. What is you and Whop's relationship like as of today?
Let me say this first, bro. I got love for dude. Like I still look at him like a brother, even though, you know, we had our the shit that went on or whatever. And I mentioned before, you know, dude left me for dead. And before I got out of jail, I reached out to him. I reached out to Whop, you know, to get in contact with him, kind of checking on him on some shit, you know. But right as of now, like, I don't fuck with him no more. He done some shit. He had the first thing he did that really pissed me off. One of our homies was up there with him, and he was in affairs with him, and Whop was mad at me because I was working. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I understand in the way, but you know, because it's like he needed me to, well, he thinking I'm going to get back in the streets, so, you know, if I get back in the streets, like, he know what I'm capable of, and he was going to need that money to help me get home, you know what I'm saying? So he was kind of, we never had that discussion. He was just banking on, like this what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? So he was saying that shit, dude come to him, was telling me everything. The shit he was saying, I knew he wasn't lying because it was conversation me and Whop had or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But me and him had talked one day, and he had asked me to, he said, man, I need $500. You know, and I'm like, you in jail? You know what I'm saying? You know, 100 a month. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever I'll be sending you. So he told me he had a little gambling, little debt or whatever, some shit. And I'm like, bro, I'm not sending you that type of, that's just, I don't believe in supporting nobody habits, you know what I'm saying? So, but I also, you know, I speak my mind more than I use. And I'm like, bro, I don't even supposed to be fucking with you. Like on no level, because you left me for dead when I was in jail, you know what I'm saying? So he felt a way about that, and that nigga hung up on me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talked to him since. One more thing. He had done some other shit what I really ain't like, but he had lied, told a female that he used to mess with that I said some shit about, I'm not gonna say her name, about she's supposed to be sick or whatever. I never told him that. We never had the conversation. But he called me after he did it, and he told me about it. So, soon he told me, like, why the fuck, why you use me up? Why you ain't say somebody else, you know what I'm saying? So I told him, like, bro, straighten that up, call that chick and fix that. Because me and chick was cool. And so when me and him got off the phone, I called her. Dog, when I called chick, she went off. I just let her vent. Because I know how she feeling. Because, like I said, the shit, it was all a lie. She going off on me, like, cursing me out and everything. And I'm just listening to the shit. So as soon as she finished talking, I told her, what happened. And while I'm on the phone with her, he called. So, he cleaned the shit up or whatever. She called me back. She apologized. And that was that. But I ain't talked to him since.
How long ago was these conversations, would you say?
Man, it been over a year. I ain't talking, like, we ain't hollering over a year.
So that's fairly recent though.
Yeah.
But that little segment before we move forward, there's a lot to unpack on that, everything you just said. Going back to, it's crazy. I mean, outside looking at, I don't get out of grown man business, but for him to leave you for dead when you was locked up, and him to expect you to hold him down while he locked up, and you was still holding him down.
Right.
That's kind of, kind of crazy to you.
It is, and dudes don't be seeing it like that. See, when it's like when the shoe on the other foot, I know how I am. When dudes I fuck when they in jail, I make sure you're straight if I'm able. You know what I'm saying? And me, him, and like I said, we did what we did together. I never like eliminated him from that equation or whatever he did, but he always on this family shit. And I'm like, dog, what happened to the family shit when the shoe was on the other foot? When I was back there, when I needed you, you know what I'm saying? He don't be want to talk. He like, man, as you always say, man, you gonna hold that against me, that door. I'm like, yeah, you said fuck me in so many words, you know what I'm saying? So.
And I remember one of our early interviews, you said that he said, forget doing the
his girl.
Yeah. So it seemed like he was just out for self at that time.
Yeah.
But now he kind of like looking for you to help him out. And you were still sending him money, like I said. Do you think that's a relationship you care to like men?
Fuck no. I ain't into fixing nothing, especially if nothing I ain't break. You know what I'm saying? But see the problem with dudes like that, and not just him, that pride be a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And also, like, dudes they never want to take accountability for what they did. You know, because like I said, I never was supposed to. Because it's like once you say fuck me, that's what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, just being who I am, I reached out. I still sent them money since I've been home or whatever. But like I said, as recently, I ain't. That's a dead situation. Like, I wish him the best. I hope he get out there some type of way. You know what I'm saying? But nah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so and then what was like his, I guess, excuse for using your name and the whole mix up with the girl and her whatever?
Because he know that I asked him why you use me. He like, man, because you the only one that she know that he be in contact with. For sure, she know I'm gonna be in contact with him. She know, he was like a big brother to me. You know what I'm saying? And that what I was like, why you ain't say somebody else's name? You know what I'm saying? And the way it look is it'll be like she was probably taking it like I really told him that, and I was mad because he told her that I said it, but the conversation never happened. That's why I was so mad about it.
So when y'all was like out on the street, you, him, and Dooney, what type of person was he? Like like, I guess you could say, quote unquote, were the red flags there? Like he was like a selfish person, or were y'all all like kind of like brothers and family at that time when y'all was on the street?
Bro, we was hard on this family shit. I value my friendship, bro. You know what I'm saying? And we was hard on this, like we brothers. We always talk about, man, it's us against whoever. We always had that mentality, you know what I'm saying? But I never saw the signs of the selfish. Now I saw the signs of the he won't be looked at as the big dog, you know what I'm saying? I saw that. Because when all of them bought our cars, we had just got hit. So each one was supposed to go get a used car. We get $10,000 a piece. Go get a car. Just go get something for around. Because we really had on our mind, we about to like really bust their ass when you do come out with our whips or whatever. But he went and got a vet. I bought a 929, but doing it bought a Riviera. Whop go get the vet. You know what I'm saying? And then like we always grin like it ain't time for that yet. You know what I'm saying? But he trying to keep up with certain dudes out the hood on some shit, you know, but it is what it is.
And he not from the Magnolia, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he grew up back there.
Oh, got you. So he tried to go with the vet. So is it a reason why you think, like, so y'all was getting all this money, how did y'all, like, get to the peak that y'all were getting, like the connect and everything? Like, how did that come about?
When we first started getting, now Whop got people in the St. Thomas. He used to go back there all the time, right? So they had this dude named his name either Bunny or Bunyan. He no longer here. I think his name Bunyan from out of St. Thomas. He was pumping back there. So Whop had scored from him. Coming to project, you know, he doing the thing. So anyway, we wound up going through him to get what we was getting. But the shit we get from him, you can see that it stepped on. Like it was stepped on bad, but the shit was so good and so strong, it still built us a crowd up or whatever. So the way we wind up getting the little line we had, doing it from the 17th, the dude originally from the 17th. I can say his name now. He dead dude named Gilly Boy. Older dude, he was in jail at the time. So doing it, go back there trying to see who got some good dope or whatever. So he ran to one of his partners and they told him like who to holler at, who had it or whatever. So we was telling him about the dude out of town was like, man, that's where we be getting it from. Anyway, so we got the dude who we hollering at to get in the car one day. We going to scope from the dude out of Thomas. Because the dude he's saying like, man, that's probably the same nigga who getting it through Gilly or whatever. So we go pull up on dude to go get what we going to get. And homie, he in the car. So me and Whop get out of the car. Dude stay in the car with his partner out of 17. So dude will come out. We pull in the driveway in the St. Thomas. Dude will come out. Talk to him, get our shit. We get back in the car. Your boy like, man, he getting that from such and such. So now we ain't had to go through him no more. We got the direct line through not the Gilly, because Gilly in jail, but whoever the other nigga is who got it for him or whatever. So that's how we kind of got. That's how we got the plug with this nigga. This ain't no plug like he's old Mexican or no shit like that. You know, he the nigga that had the line though. You know, so and we was on from there.
So it was like so. When y'all cut dude out, did he say anything like, hey, y'all holler at me no more? What's going on?
Yeah.
Did y'all tell him what it was?
And we took his crowd. We took his crowd because we was you know, I told I used to be the man in the kitchen doing everything, whatever. So I was making shit stronger than what he was doing. But we had the same thing, but he was hitting it so much. Excuse me, I told him he had his own crowd back there. But once we got. It was like we didn't take all this, but we took the majority of this crowd. Cause what we did when we first got the shit, we went in every dope spot and passed out sample bags. You know what I'm saying? Let them know, look, we got this in the Magnolia. Told them where we want to be at, and that was it. That was it.
And y'all used to have them lines out there too.
Yes, indeed.
So we spoke on this before, but if you can like kind of revisit, like if the lines get a little too crazy, what would y'all like? How would y'all kind of get it back in order?
It was hard because it used to be. But you really had to see it, like, to understand. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the shit used to be so crazy to other dudes that were hustling in the circuit and shit. They used to be watching us, like watching the crowd or whatever. But we had to doing it. One of them. He liked to be on the block, like on some enforcing shit. You know what I'm saying? So he'd get out there, be hiding, man. Y'all go over there. Y'all get over, you know, and all that shit. I used to be inside, out the way. You know what I'm saying? But it was hard to control it. And then the hardest thing was stopping the certain junkers from hanging around. Cause some of them they'll get into the habit of where they just go to hanging on the dope set and y'all drawing police, you know what I'm saying? But that was the hardest thing. But other than that, we was controlling that shit.
Did you ever like see somebody in line that you never thought you would see in line?
A couple of females.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple that I went to school with. And up to there, well, I'm not even gonna say her name, but she done got herself together. Man, this girl came. I was in the hallway one day. This was one day nobody was out there. Me and Timmy in the hallway. And she came in the hallway. When I seen her, I grabbed her like, man, what's up? You know, grab her. Still fine and everything, pretty. And she like, man, give me a bag. She was short. Matter of fact, she was short. She had like 18 hours or some shit. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, man, what the fuck is what you doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm still looking at her. I'm like,
you Yeah, you trying to save her.
Yeah, I'm trying to save you, man. You don't want to go to rehab, I'm gonna pay for it, you know what I'm saying? But she was done though. She was done. She showed me her arms and everything. She had track marks. I'm like, damn. Nice little broad, bro.
So I mean that's probably like you said, you seen a couple people that you didn't expect. Did that make you like feel any type of way, or you just like, you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
They're gonna get it from somewhere type thing.
Yeah.
So you said like she was, you know, still looking kind of good at the time. I hear this a lot. I heard like gangsters speak on it before too. Have you ever like got with like one of the fiends or anything like that?
When I was younger? Yeah, man, yes indeed.
I guess that's like
that was
everybody,
normal.
If you really like, I guess a hood person, like that was normal. Huh?
That was some kind. Yeah, it was normal. Bro, they had this lady. We used to call her second floor raid, bro. No, she stayed on 6 on the second floor. This motherfucker was so fine, bro. It was. I used to go. This one we were selling crack. This one we were selling crack. I used to go by the lady house, and she liked me. I know if I go over there, I ain't strong enough to resist. You know what I'm saying? No, I go in that bitch, she walk around with drawers on, big old boy, this bitch. And I'm like, man. But she was one of them functional junkies. You know what I'm saying? She cook and clean up and motherfucker was so fine, man. Look, I used to go over there with a pack of rubs. I know if I go in the lady house and go cook, I know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I knocked a couple more when I was young, bro.
Yeah, like I said, I hear them stories all the time, which is crazy to me. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, it's funny because, you know, when you say your name, when people watch it, they gonna know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously, you probably wasn't the only one.
No, indeed.
Yeah. So, but speaking of girls, right? One thing I did notice is, I was talking. I had an interview last night. It seemed like the girls in the project, is like y'all not use them, but like y'all use them for like stash slots.
No, it wasn't. It was it, bro. We have a strange relationship with the Magnolia girls. Like we family. They used to get on our nerves sometimes, but you know they curse us out and shit like that too. But they don't. You know how some females like they'll know certain dudes. I'm gonna use gangs. I'm gonna use Sterling. They know Sterling ain't to be played with. You know what I'm saying? And they'll still like let's say when the shit happened when him and doing the hit dude, right? Soon as that shit happened, I come walk like after the police and all that shit left. I come on Magnolia. One of the girls see me skip, "Ooh, bitch, y'all wrong. That boy ain't had nothing." I'm like, I ain't had nothing to do with that. When they see doing them the next day, bitch, you wrong. It don't matter, but they're gonna show you they don't respect that part of the game like that. You know, to where I guess they kind of used to feel like they're exempt from that or whatever. But they'll tell you about themselves, and like we always did have that relationship with them to where like they was our sisters or whatever. And I'm still like that with most of them. You know what I'm saying? But it's just I don't know. It's kind of it's shit strange, bro. You know.
You said like brother sister type thing. They be the ones to tell you about yourself. Yeah. Because you know they're not expecting y'all to do anything like some real harm to them or like you know.
And the other thing about them, now they fall out with each other, talk about each other, you know all that. You know you gonna have some of them that's mess, some of them cool, but you can't talk about none of them. They'll jump you. You know what I'm saying? They could not even much like it could be one of the time where they beefing with each other. But they're not gonna let nobody else say nothing about them. You know what I'm saying? Right. They stick together like that.
So so what'd you say? Like so we seen on the See Murder DVD the Magnolia Hoes. Was that like a real thing, like a real group?
That's them, the Magnolia Girls. Yeah, that's what they call themselves. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Who was a part of that you well obviously you know them, but like anybody that was a kind of guess like around your age bracket, maybe like a little younger.
The original ones was the girl Keo and Chucky Puss, Sabrina, and they was the Magnolia Girls at first, like when I was a little younger. But it became Kiki and her like they, you know what I'm saying, Magnolia Shorty, Kiki Keezer, but you know all them they the, you know what I'm saying, they still that. You know what I'm saying? They're the Magnolia girls right now.
So what was like they known for back? Like they used to like fight a lot, or like what they used to get into?
Certain ones like known for fighting or stabbing or whatever, but they mostly just go out and just be hanging. You know what I'm saying? They hang together, they stick together. You know, they like sisters. You know, and they still, most of them, they still like mess with each other or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's their thing.
That's what's up. I'm asking because you know I get some DMs all the time asking if I can try to interview one of them. They want to hear like from a woman's perspective of growing up in that era. So you know.
We got to get Kiki, bro.
I'm trying.
I talked to her. I'm going to call her when I leave here. She said she going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But she was just like, she wanted to know like what type of things you was going to be asking. I told her it ain't going to be nothing. You ain't got to worry about nothing like that, you know. I told her she could talk about Shorty or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But we going to get Kiki, man.
Yeah, you know, just let her know. I'm not here for the clickbait, for the views. I go over everything. Whatever you want to answer, you answer. Whatever you don't, you don't.
Right.
But we're going to have that understood before we even turn the camera on.
We're going to get her.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we're going to get you, Key. That's why I had to bring that up. But you brought up Magnolia Shorty, though. Do you remember, like, back in, like, I guess mid-90s when she first started getting, you know, doing a rap thing and, like, signing with Cash Money? Was that, like, a big deal to y'all in the project?
When she signed with Cash Money, I don't even think, I was locked up a lot. Yeah. But I remember she would be rapping at the DJs a lot. She always go get the mic, you know, be just saying this shit at the DJs. But it was definitely big for them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But when they blew up, like I don't know if she was still with them. Mm-hmm. When they like got the nationwide deal or whatever. I don't know if she was still like signed to them or not.
Right. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so. But you know, she did before they blew up. Cash Money, that is. She did put out that classic, Monkey on the Stick. Did they used to have like DJs or whatever the case may be going crazy? Yeah.
Still, they still play that. They still play that song. Yeah.
Well, what was like one of your favorite songs to hear back in the day, like at a DJ or something? Like something that you know that you would like to hear, whether it was a song that got the girls started or just a song that made you get you and your homeboy started.
Really anything UNLV or Slim, but for the female, you know, you familiar with our music, right? You know, the bounce is everything. Anything they put, like they had that bounce beat to it and they shaking, I want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? I like to see them dancing and getting on their head and all that. I like all that shit.
So, I mean, you name dropped a lot of the Magnolia girls, but somebody you had put in your book, Regina, was she a Magnolia girl?
No, but let me tell you about Regina. You gotta let me run this to you.
All right, okay, take your time.
All right. Regina, she was, and you gotta listen. She was messing with this dude named Flip. From out of Magnolia, she from out of Magnolia. She was messing with this dude named Flip. In her mind, like they Flip her first everything. He took her virginity from her. He her first everything. In her mind, she's hearing wedding bells and all this shit. Like they gonna be together. She think that this is it. But he looking at her like she's just another female he messed with, right? So he putting her through that shit, little hood shit, and like cheating on her with all kind of different females. You know, shit getting back to her. She fighting behind him and all kind of shit. So she go to jail. He go to jail while he in her car. So his lawyer told him, in order for him to get off the charge, you know, all he got to do is say that he didn't know that it was in the car. But they also told him that they going to get a charge to her. So Flip went along with it. So he like, you know, got in court, so they wound up driving the charge on him and charged her with it. So she go to jail before she get out of jail. And she still messing with him. He putting her through shit. So she got to a point, I don't want to make the story too long, but
take your time.
She got to a point to where she was tired of his shit. Like he was putting her through so much, and she got like, I guess she reached her breaking point with him. So he come by her apartment. You know, they have sex. He go to sleep. While dude sleep, she call the police and tell him that I can say rape. Mm. She called the police and tell him that he raped them. So while the police on the way, she go in the rooms. She just start beating on him. She hollering, "Why you raped me? You know, cursing him out and all kinds of shit." So he jumped up, he like, "Raped you?" Cause you know he didn't. You know what I'm saying? So when he come to and realize what she's saying, he grabbed her. You know, he go to beating on her and she's like, man, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I raped you or whatever. She done ran in the living room. She fall on the floor. He grabbed his gun from under her mattress. And now he on top of him. Now he like, you saying I raped you? He said, I'm about to show you now. So he about to, like, take it for real. He pulling our pants down. As he doing this, the police kicking the door. They kicking the door. He got blood all over his shirt from him hitting on all this shit. So what they seeing, like he about to do it again. You know what I'm saying? So dude wind up going to jail. They taking him to jail for aggravated rape. Blah, blah, blah. So she going to court on him. But she just want him to stay in jail for a little while, like, you know, to make him kind of hurt him a little bit or whatever. She don't, you know, drop the charge, let him out or whatever, say she lied. So while dude in jail, her grandfather called her and tell her she need to go to the thing to renew her life insurance policy. So when she go to do the life insurance policy, she had to do blood work and all that shit. They tell her she HIV positive. Now Flip, he the only dude she ever had sex with. So it had to come from you. You know what I'm saying? So now he in jail and he wondered why she steady coming to court on him. So now in her mind, she about to go through with it because she like, you done fuck my life, fuck yours up too. She going to court on dude. So when I'm gonna get to the trial, he wind up going to trial. She get up there, she get on the stand and everything. She cried, she performed, everything. Long story short, dude wind up catching, they gave him life for aggravated rape. They gave him kidnapped, you know, all kind of shit. So when she leaving out the courtroom, she stopped by him and tell him, she said, we HIV positive. So you destroyed my life, now you live your life in jail, you know, with the shit you gave me or whatever. So now he fucked up. He fucked up behind that and the fact that he got a life sentence. So when he get back to the prison, he go tell the people that he need to get his medicine. So they like, what medicine you need? He tell him, he say, I'm HIV positive, I need my medicine. So they tell him, look, we can't just give you medicine, you got to take a blood test. He can take the blood test come back negative. So before all this happened, Gina got a best friend, the girl named Regina, called her Gina. She got a best friend named Pam. Her friend had a crush on her. But what she used to do, she used to drug Gina. She used to be like putting stuff in her medicine, not that medicine, whatever she drank, because they'd sleep by each other's house a lot. And it'd like have her in a comatose like state or whatever. So she don't know what's going on. Her friend eating up, you know, while she thinking, but Gina thinking she dreaming. So in Gina's mind, she thinking she got a crush on her friend, but she's scared to tell her. So I don't want like say no, I don't want to go on with it, but that's the book. That's the first part of my book.
That's the first book.
That's the first book.
Okay. Now is this based on a true story or
no? It was made up. And beyond which the story came, it was a rap. It was a rap, and I just turned it into a book.
You used to rap?
Yeah, I used to write music when I was in jail. Man, all I had started rapping, man. No, I ain't me to spit nothing on. They ain't about to have.
Okay, so it was a rap that turned into a book.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's the first. That's the first.
That's book. The first book. Yeah. It's two parts. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Chain Reaction 1.
Yeah.
Chain Reaction 2. Okay, yeah, man. Y'all make sure y'all go get that book. I'm glad you ran it down like that. This whole time, I'm thinking it's based on a true story.
No, all made up. I just put a few names in there of people I know. I put Shucky name in there.
Okay.
Girl Javon, a few Vanessa. I put a few of their names in there, but yeah.
Javon, that's she from out the Magnolia.
She's from out the Magnolia.
I know BG name dropped her in some songs.
Yeah.
What was she like back then?
She was a hustler. Divine, she was, as far as the females, I could say she was one of the, for streetwise, she was one of the best hustlers, like for the females or whatever, like back then or whatever, you know. Yeah.
So, with that part of the story you just told us, you know, that was like some real conniving stuff right there. Growing up though, like for you, like in real life, what is like some conniving stuff that you witnessed or you heard about that you was like, you know, that kind of like, you was like, damn, like some backdoor type activity or anything like that?
Bro, believe it or not, my mama, bro. And I wouldn't expect you to ask no shit like that, but yeah, my mama. But let me tell you what happened, Brandon. I never told no. Well, my sisters know. I never told nobody this, bro. My mama had laid down. My uncle was pumping. Like my uncle was pumping. This nigga would have like a little suitcase full of money, and I'm like probably 8, 9 years old, probably a little younger than that at the time. I was still at the age of playing video games and in the store and shit. Money. So I'm a kid. I'm thinking if I take something out the middle, like he ain't gonna know this is gone, which he never really did or whatever. So, but my mama knew the money was in there. But I was inside sleep one night. I used to sleep with my grandma. My mom and my uncle shared a room together. And like I said, my uncle was pumping, bro. He was pumping. And my mama and my dad, they come through the window in the room that they slept in. I woke up. I always did sleep. I woke up. I go in the room. They got masks on. I didn't know that it was my mom at the time, but I didn't know it was her. She used to call me Head until she said, Head, go get back in the bed. I go get back in the bed with my grandma. My mom and my pa, they come like they burglars, but they about to hit my uncle shit. They come in there, they put me and my grandma in the closet. He said it again. Get in the closet, Head, get in the closet with your grandma. My mama. And I'm like, when I was a kid, I don't know what's going on or whatever. Lock us in the closet. My uncle come back. My grandma told him what happened and shit. My mama gone. So they hid all this little money and shit out of the closet and all this shit. But that was the first cutthroat shit that I seen like with my mom or whatever. But it was behind this dude. Behind my pa or whatever, you dig? But that shit kind of, when I got older, we talked about it when I got older. And I asked him like, man, what made you? She said, fuck your uncle, straight like that. But like I said, that was my first, like, little slimy shit, you know what I'm saying, that I remember.
Right. How old were you?
Man, I was like, I had to be like 8, bro, or something like that. I was under 10 for sure.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
At the time, like I said, you was a kid, but as you got older, even like now looking back, like,
Yeah.
she kind of like, obviously, like set the whole play up, got your uncle for the bread.
Yeah.
Your uncle probably had no idea. He just chalked it to like a home invasion.
He found out.
Oh, he did?
I don't know how. I think my grandma probably told him, because like I said, she called him a head. Ain't nobody called me that but people in my house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my grandma probably told my uncle that, man, my uncle beat the fuck out of my mama, man.
Yeah.
Man, with my mama ass. I remember this like yesterday. That nigga beat the fuck out of my mama. And a lot of the dudes out the hood, they ain't like my uncle. Not because of that, but because my pa used to whip my mama ass. And they felt like you supposed to handle that. How you letting a dude way out another project come back in, on your sister or whatever, bro. I don't know. I never understood that. I know how I'm crashing out behind my sister. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
Damn. So I know like you said, she was calling you a nickname. Yeah. I thought maybe that was like could have been like a key word for y'all, just like it's cool, like don't panic.
Probably
but
was.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We hitting this lick real quick.
Yeah.
Damn. So he ended up finding out anyways.
Yeah.
Damn. So the dude you called, was that your real dad? Because I know you said you had.
No, that was my real dad. I didn't know that was my dad at the time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was my real dad.
So when you got older, you wasn't witnessing that. Like if you was to see any kind of like disrespect towards your mom, I'm sure as you got older as a man, as a young man, you would kind of like try to shut it down.
Fuck something up.
Right.
I'll fuck something up behind my mom. On drugs or not, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's crazy. So being that you witnessed that at a young age, I mean, that could have turned you into like a cutthroat type of person. But when you was out there, that wasn't like your MO right there. Nah. Like you was just.
I ain't never done no slime and shit like that. I ain't wired like that. Nah.
And you was a real close affiliate, brothers with the Hot Boys and other people out of the project. When you got of age and like your prime years, let's say mid '90s, did you witness anything like backdoor cutthroat stuff like within the project that you can share, that you remember? Like damn, that was a slip one right there.
Look, Skeeter, and I'm surprised Gangsta probably told this story on his channel, but they had a dude come in the project, and he was selling guns. We were buying all guns came through. We was buying them. Dude was selling he was selling the chopper. I wasn't right there when it happened, but I come around after. This nigga gave Ski the gun with bullets in it. Like, he wanted to sell it. So Ski like, man, you know what, ask the dude, they say Ski asked the dude, do they have bullets? And the dude like, yeah. So Ski like, man, I'm about to shoot that dude. Ski slaughtered him. Ski slaughtered the dude, bro. Yeah. Gaines, he probably told that story on the channel before. But you know, we talked about it, like after, you know, they told us what happened and shit. I'm like, man, that nigga crazy. Like, or you didn't know who Skeeter was or something, you know what I'm saying? Skeeter slaughtered, like right there, with the bullets he had in there already.
He couldn't just point the gun at him and tell him, go ahead, it's mine now?
Yeah, nah, because he wasn't going to give him a chance to come back. Yeah, that was some, you know.
One thing I've noticed, you know, doing these interviews and talking to people from that era is just like the price of life was cheap back then.
Yeah.
I've heard some stories of people getting deleted for next to nothing.
Yeah. That's how it was really like that. Mm-hmm. It was really like it didn't take much. It didn't take much, bro. So
when you came around there, y'all talked about it. What was like the atmosphere? Like, what was the mood? Like, it was just
everybody was laughing. It was like that back then. That's how it was. But nigga was like laughing about that shit. Like,
okay. So was there ever like a move? Let's say something like that was going down, and you was there, you was present. Was there ever something that was going down that you could have stopped, but didn't? Or you seen something happening that you wanted to stop, but you couldn't because you kind of, you know what I'm saying?
I can't really think of nothing like. Nah, I can't think of nothing.
Okay. And someone you say you was cool with, that got shot, Red.
Red.
You was with him when he got shot by, what is it? By Detour.
Yeah.
Did y'all ever back then find out where that came from, and did he ever like try to get some get back?
We never knew. We never knew. I ain't gonna say that, but we never really knew what happened. I was about to tell you about some shit, but this pertained to long. But we had, you know, I talked to him and you know what I'm saying, we'll get to that. But we never knew. We knew it came from out the mouth, but we didn't know who at the time. You know what I'm saying? We never knew who.
Yeah. Did you ever like run across like Blackie Mo? Was that somebody that you ran with, ran across?
I never ran with Blackie Mo. I knew him. I've been knowing him. Like he was when he was outside doing all that shit. I was like sneak hustling and shit at the time. You know what I'm saying? More older than me. Like he was a well-respected dude in the hood, outside the hood. Like.
So we know that you ran with, you know, the Hot Boys and everybody in the Magnolia. Did you run or did you have like any episodes with anybody, any big dogs outside the Magnolia?
Nah, no episode. Not me personally, but when I started hearing shit about Randall, like after, you know, he was gone or whatever, I had a one run in, and it wasn't me, it was Dougalou. They had the DJ at our project one day, and my auntie Diane, she stayed on 3rd floor on Magnolia Street. The DJ where they got is in Stone Cold, which is right there on the other side of the driveway. I had just got up. I come out. I'm on the 3rd floor. I'm leaning out the window, and I see Dougalou across the street. Right on Magnolia, they had like a brick wall, but it was broken half. So you know, some people they used to be sitting right there. Dougalou sitting right there. Now I didn't know Randall at the time. I didn't know him. Never heard of him or nothing. But him and Dougalou talked. He walked up to Dougalou. I didn't know him. I never knew him, never heard of him. He walked up to Dougalou, and I'm looking at them talking, and everything I love. I see him. He like doing like this, you know, like in Dougalou face or whatever. So Doug, I'm looking at Doug. He just shaking his head. Now at the time, I don't know if they're playing or if they clown or if they're serious. I didn't know what was going on, but I'm just looking. So when dude walk off, then when I knew it was, you know how you might walk off somebody and you look back and, you know what I'm saying? And when I'm like, well, all right, I grab my shit. I had a 40 at the time. I grab my gun. I go downstairs. I don't even, like I said, I don't even know dude. I don't know he know monster like they was. I don't know none of this shit. I go down there by Dougalou. I'm like, man, what's up? So he like, man, I'm chilling, you know, talking about watching the whole that DJ and shit. I'm like, man, what's up with your boy? Then when he told me that's Randall or whatever, I'm like, what happened? He said, man, he had old Randall some shit happened. I don't know. But I'm like, what's up? I saw a dude putting his hand in your face, and what's up? And I know Doug about his business or whatever, you dig? So, he was like, man, I can't, him and T-Dub was tight. He like, man, I can't fuck with that, bro, because, if I do this and Dub, and, he was saying all kinds of shit. And me, like I said, I didn't even know dude. I'm like, fuck him and his brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? Because just from me seeing nigga putting his hand in your face, doing like that there, you dig? But, that was that. Ain't nothing never happened from that. But when I went to him later, like later in life, as an adult, like, they were saying dude was a monster or whatever. But
do you remember hearing about like him being deleted and how it kind of like set Uptown on fire after that?
They said that's how that beef with them, the Cali was sparked.
Like I was locked up, huh?
Yeah, I was locked up. But I told you, never had no issue with them. Dude used to come out of our project. Dougalou used to come back there and be shooting dice in a circle.
Oh, yeah?
All the time. Yeah, he used to come back there, he'd be shooting dice with dudes out the hood all the time. So, that shit, they say that's where that Cali or Magnolia shit started with gangs in them or whatever.
Did you used to hang out over there? Or you kind of just standing
in the Cali?
Yeah.
No, I was stuck in the project.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'd go back there. I ain't had no issues if I did go back there, but I was stuck in the project.
You were stuck in the project, and somebody out the project, obviously someone close to that passed Disco. What's like a funny memory that you got with Disco, or like some good times you got with Disco?
The funniest thing, Disco had that nigga had a white name of that car, a Plymouth. It don't even exist no more. That nigga had a Plymouth, like a little Ford. We used to call it the powder bag. No, they got a driveway in our project called a long driveway. We coming up Willow Street. They had this crackhead dude named Highway. Highway on a bike, riding a bike. He going up the long driveway. He turned in before us. So when we turned off Willow up the long driveway. Disco hit the dude. He just run into him, knocked him off the bike, fucked the man ankle up and everything. So, he jumped out the car like, man, my babe. Like it was an accident. But he hit the man on purpose. But that's Disco dude. Goofy shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That nigga really fucked that man. That man was limping and everything for about a month straight. Yeah, man. He gave him a rock. Gave him a little piece of crack or some shit like that.
My bad. Here
Disco,
you go.
that's how Disco was a clown, bro. That nigga really, and he hit the dude hard like, I'm in the car, I'm in the bag, see, I'm laughing my ass off. He jumped out, man, my bad, it was an accident. Yeah, but Disco was a clown.
Was that the car that had the long front seat?
Yeah.
Just like a...
Yeah, ain't no center console or nothing. Yeah, ain't none of that shit. You really call that bitch a powder bag. We be powered up in that bitch too.
And we spoke about your mom, and you speak about your mom all the time. How much you loved her, love her, how close y'all were, how much. I mean, you kind of shared a lot. You opened up a lot on this platform about y'all relationship, which that could be a book too. If you think about it.
Yeah, it could.
Because I be thinking about it all the time. Like these stories, sometimes they be sitting with me, and it be stories like that really kind of like sit with me for real. I used to sleep in the dope house or the crack house just to try to be with your mom.
Right.
Just feeling for that relationship, wanting that love. Like when you look back, like how you feel about that like would you say like you're healed or anything like from?
Say, bro, I don't think so. That's a good question, bro. I don't even know, bro. But I don't say, bro. Me not really having that mama thing, like that shit. I know it fucked me up some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't talk about this, bro. My mama died in prison, bro. You know what I'm saying? I never tell nobody that. Certain people out the hood know, but me and my mom was writing each other. I want to tell you about let me tell you this. I used to be ashamed of my mama. I'm not gonna lie, I ain't ashamed to say that. Like, while she was on drugs, you know what I'm saying? But when I went to juvenile jail, my mom had she came to court, and now that I'm older, I respect the fuck out of it. Like, she showed up for court for me, and I wasn't expecting that because I know how them drugs had it. You know what I'm saying? But she came to court, said, bro, it's funny, but at the time it bothered me. and I was hurt by the shit. Like when she came to court, for my mama came to court dressed like me. You know, I'm talking about had on everything I wear, like all my clothes, the polo shirt, the shorts, and the red All Stars. My mama came to court really looking like me in that bitch, bro. But you know, at the time, like I said, I was embarrassed, like, you know what I'm saying? But you know, when I got older, I respect she showed up, you know what I'm saying? But that situation, I had went to jail for 6 rocks at the time, and they wouldn't release me. She came to court, they were supposed to release me that day, but they wouldn't release me to her. They looking at her, you know what I'm saying? The judge looking at her, he like, no, we can't release him, you know, to his mom or whatever. So somebody mother got it. My uncle came, got me. My next court date, they released me to my uncle. That's how I ended up living on the West Bank. I was on the West Bank for the whole 1992. I was on the West Bank side of the city or whatever. And them, ain't nobody knew me over there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they thinking I'm just a little good boy. They don't know I just got out of jail and all this shit. But yeah, bro, the thing, that relationship I missed out on my mama, bro, I ain't lying, bro. I wish I could have that shit, bro. I never, you know, my aunties, certain aunties, they feel that void.
But it ain't gonna never be like
never,
that.
never. You know what I'm saying?
You know, a lot of people grow up with their grandma.
Yeah,
their grandma there every step of the way. But like I said, I grew up with, I ain't had no dad.
Right.
But it's like you would never, no matter who step up or whatever the case may be, if it ain't them, it ain't them.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I feel like that's a part of my life. Like I did miss out on. You know what I'm saying? I never had that feeling. You know, I never had that feeling, bro.
I mean, that's something I did want to ask you, but I didn't want to dig too deep. Even though, like I said, you've been open and transparent about the relationship with your mom. About like growing up younger. I don't know if I did ask you or not. I don't think I did, but you saying like you kind of like being embarrassed, ashamed. Was that something like you be, let's say, younger in the projects and you see your mom coming, maybe dressed like how like you said dressed. You might be with your friends. You like, she comes. I don't know. They might try to like crack jokes, you know, some little kid stuff.
Yeah.
Is that something that you had to like kind of go through as well? Like,
nah, not as a kid, but when I got in the streets, I ain't kept no more. I wasn't embarrassed. I accept, you know, this, you know, it is what it is or whatever. But I know like when I was younger and I didn't understand the whole drug addiction thing. You know, I used to feel like, you know, like she ain't give a fuck about me. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I didn't understand how the type of hold that them drugs have on them. You know what I'm saying? And, like I said, I done begged my mama, man, like, you know, leave that shit alone. Like I said, I really, I was too young to understand how powerful that shit was. When I got older, I kind of understood it. And you probably remember that what I was telling Warrior. Because that Warrior, his mom was on drugs too. And he had a situation where we was in a project, we was playing with paintball guns. And his mama had sold all his paintball guns. She sold all this shit. And, you know, when P called me, I went and picked him up. He get in the car, he crying. I'm like, man, what happened? So he telling me what happened. And he said, man, she don't fucking love me. You know, him and Diz, they got him like, man, she don't. So we ride him, and I'm explaining, I'm like, bro, she do love you, bro. But I'm trying to make him understand that it ain't her, it's the drugs, bro. You know, that addiction, excuse me, I'm telling him, like, that addiction making her do that, bro. It ain't that she don't give a fuck about you, like she ain't in total control no more, you know what I'm saying? But you know he young. He ain't understand like I didn't understand when I was his age, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, bro, you know, a lot of dudes don't, and I be telling people now that like that I'm cool with and still got their mom, I be telling them, man, go do, you know, take your mom on a trip or something. You know, and that's it, bro. And now to get off subject, that's why I got the love I got for gangster, bro. That nigga did something my mom I ain't do. You know, he mentioned that this nigga took my mom to New York. I ain't get a chance to take my mama no fucking well. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, our relationship go beyond that, but I got mad respect for homie for that. You know what I'm saying? So.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, shout out to Gangster for that. But like you said, you got older using the street. You see your mom. You said you just accepted her for who she was. Like, was there ever a time, and I'm asking this respectfully, that you didn't quite like respect her as a mom, and you just seen her as like as an addict on the street? Because when you say you grew up, you was like, yeah, fuck it, like, you know, if she is what it is, like, did you ever like had that train like, hey, go my mom, or, you know, whatever, she's just an addict, I ain't, whatever, like, disrespect her type of thing?
I never disrespected her, But my mom never heard me curse, bro. You know what I'm saying? None of my adult relatives or whatever. You know, I always been respectful, but it was a time I didn't, because the first time she stole from me, like, man, I was at sick, bro. I was in our house. When we used to have crack, you know, the Jabot jeans had the button. They didn't have the press button. They had the where you got to put it, you know, like that type of button. I used to have my stash in there. Cause I know she gonna, like I said, I'll be outside 3-4 days in a row, like straight. So when I do go up there, go to sleep or whatever, like I crash, I be like sleep hard. And she done stole from me before. So I used to put, like, I know I'm gonna go to sleep. I had my shit like right here, my little stash. Man, I woke up, she done unbuttoned my pants. You know, she done unbuttoned my fucking pants, all my shit gone. Then she gonna say she ain't did. Who else was in here, man? You know what I'm saying? And but that time now, I was like, in my head, fuck her. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, in your heart, you can't really feel that way. I can say it to myself, like, man, I'm done with her. I'm not feeding her no more. I was saying all kind of shit, but, it was out of anger, you know? And like I said, at that time, I still really didn't understand, like, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, bro, that shit hurt it, bro.
So when you say feeding, you know, I'm asking all these questions out of, you know, respect.
No, it's all good, man.
So did you used to like serve your mom too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to give her, like, if I have, then what she would cook for me. Before she, like, when she taught me how to cook, but I still let her cook for me sometimes. She was beating me still. You know, they had all kind of tricks. They'll pour the oil, like, in the sink. They got the little thing, they'll hook the sink up to catch it and all this shit. Stick the shit on it. You know, I knew she was beating me. I wasn't even tripping, but yeah, I used to sell drugs to her. You know, I ain't gonna lie, I did. I sold drugs to her. But also, you know, I gave and they ain't making it no better. I ain't trying to, you know, like I did just because of this. She was on drugs, bro. Yeah, I sold to her, bro.
Did you have that mentality like if she ain't gonna get it here, she gonna get it somewhere else type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, that's a young mentality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a young mentality. And remember, I told you about the thing. You know, a lot of shit I didn't really understand what I was doing. Like, you know, I called myself trying to keep her from going do the shit, stealing and all that. Man, my mom was really one of them. You know, out all night, you know, stealing out all that type of shit. And I told her about the situation with me and Dougalou. When I told her I used to be feeding him. And the dude told me, like, man, you ain't helping. I'm thinking I'm keeping them from going to rob people, you know, probably get killed or whatever. But I ain't realizing that I'm making the habit worse or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know, it took for me to mature some, you know what I'm saying? I ain't, you know, acting like I was the perfect street nigga or whatever. Nah, I was fucking up too.
But like when you look back on it, like how you feel, you look like, you know, just the thought of looking back and like, you know, maybe selling your mom drugs or, but like I said, you had a rough upbringing though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't had to, you know, make no excuses. You take accountability for everything, but you had a rough start. I mean, for the way you turned out now, you got yourself together and everything cool, you know, but you had a real rough start. And she was putting you on, she was teaching you how to cook before teaching you how to read.
Exactly.
Type of thing.
Exactly.
So the odds is definitely stacked up against you. But when you look back, do you ever like reflect, like, do you ever like try like therapy or anything like that just to kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I know it's kind of like not the best thing, it's not a big thing in the black community, but you have been through a lot of like childhood trauma that I'm pretty sure one way or another still reflect how you are today. Like you probably have, you have a girlfriend right now? Not to put you on the spot. Like, who knows, that could be something, you know, just from relationship with your mom. You probably cut women off easily.
See, bro, let me cut you. I do. And see, bro, I swear to God, bro, I be saying that, like, I don't know if it's because I didn't have a relationship with my mama, bro. That's how I am, though. I'm one of them walk away niggas. I don't like arguing. I don't want to go back and forth about nothing, bro. I'll be ready to get the fuck. Like, it don't take much for me to be like, man, I'm done with you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it's, I don't know, bro. And I think I do need, I just don't, to be honest with you, I don't believe in that therapy shit. I feel like, you know, the conversation I can have with them, I can have with somebody else or in my cult, talking to myself. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, bro. I probably do need some type of therapy. I've been through some shit, bro. I've been through a lot, bro.
For sure. I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure. Like I sit back and reflect on. I ain't been through a quarter of the shit you've been through, But just like even the good stuff from my childhood, or good or bad, like probably like 90, because I'm a loner too. Like I live by myself.
Right.
I don't have a girlfriend. But so I do a lot of self reflecting or whatever. Like 90% of how I am today is a direct result from something from my childhood,
Right.
whether good or bad.
Right.
Like my mom, like I said, I ain't grow up with my dad. But my mom, she ain't never cared for no dude or nothing. My little like cold hearted. I ain't as cold as she was, but like I'm like you. I don't argue at first argument or something. I get right up out of there. I ain't fighting for like no love. I ain't saying that's the right thing.
Right.
But I ain't about to be fighting for it. Like, oh, we gotta work this out. And if it ain't working, it ain't working.
Right.
Right. But like I said, you not having that love and caring relationship with your mom, it probably does kind of like reflect on your dating. Mm-hmm. And I know they used to leeching stories. We kind of went sideways right here, but we just having a real talk though. Okay. It probably does have like a result. I mean, a direct result of how you view women, or you just your everyday life with women though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And see, bro, it made, like, in certain ways, I know for sure that like it affect me now, because I really, by me not having, I kind of, and right now today, I still have this, like, all I got is me type attitude. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I've been like that though, bro, because I ain't never really had nobody, like I said, I done live with relatives, mm-hmm. but I always had that mentality, like, I got to make shit, like, if I don't make nothing happen, I'm going to be fucked up or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, and it kind of pushed me to go a little harder, find other way to make money. Because I'm one of them niggas. I got too much pride, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, I could be fucked up right now. I ain't gonna ask nobody for shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm really on some shit. Like, I got to figure out a way to make some money, because my pride not gonna let me ask nobody for nothing. And I hate that I'm like that, but that's just who I am, bro.
You saying you grew up with brothers in the street, but it ain't like brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't had no family. Blood family, basically. You was like the only child, correct?
No, I got two sisters, but they younger than me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I look out for them.
Right.
But I just had a situation recently to where one of shout out to my little nephew Tevin, to where my nephew had to come through for me on some shit. I ain't about to say what, but before that, like, I still had that. Now I know I got somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That if things go bad, my pride ain't gonna get in the way. Like, if I was broke and I had to go ask him for gas money, my pride wouldn't hurt me. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
you still gotta be careful with that these days. Not with him, just and a lot of people are prideful like that, because people use that, throw it right back in your face when they get the chance. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you gotta be kind of careful with that too. But yeah, kind of went over the time here. But yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up. But y'all might see the Feet on Land tour. Y'all stay tuned for that. Going through that Magnolia. But yeah, we had good talk right there at the end. I wish we could dig a little deeper, but we'll say that for the next time. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's JB from Truth Be Told signing out. Let them know, man. Let them know what can we expect. Are we gonna get some episodes, man? What's going on?
Yeah, but like I said before, it ain't gonna be just no, like, on those street stories and none of that shit you did. I like to talk. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna be posting some stuff. I got a few little ideas. I got a couple of videos in my phone. I just gotta put them up there. But I'm definitely about to start posting some content. I don't know how often, but I'm about to get to it for real.